But the problem was it did literally always come back. And understanding why I kept putting on the weight, and more importantly, why I wasn't actually noticing when it was piling back on and actually, taking steps to intervene, really just absolutely compounded my frustration and my feeling of disempowerment against myself. This is Katie Gordon, and you're listening to the Wait is Over podcast. Welcome, health and freedom seekers. Sit back and relax as you come on this journey of overcoming obstacles so you can lose weight, gain health, and live the life you've been looking for. Hello, freedom seekers, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Katie Gordon, and the wait is over with Dietless Living 360 degrees. There's no recipes, food regimes, or exercise programs to follow. This is simply about how to take your life back, how to take control, because we all have a voice and we want to be heard. We want to forget about dieting, focus on living, and we want to lose weight. And to do that, we need to develop our personal health leadership skills and create a new mindset, a mindset that gets us over the obstacles and challenges of life and our own unconscious programs, because that's really what's impacting on our weight and health and causing habit relapse. And the purpose of this podcast is to share with you what I learned over 25 years in dieting hell and spending over $100,000 working out how to step into dietless living, because nobody should have to go through that much BS just to work out how to lose weight permanently. And today I actually want to talk about a question that I was asked the other day, a question that I've never actually been asked before, and I'm really excited to be able to share my answer with you today. Now, as you know, I've had a very long-standing struggle with weight. That staggering 25 years, which, is literally a quarter of a century. That's a quarter of a century. Now, if I live to be 100, that's a quarter of my life. If I don't live to be 100, and I personally think I will, that's even more than a quarter of my life. That's a huge chunk of time. Like I constantly say, my 25-year struggle with weight, and it's become sort of just this statement of, well, that's how long it took. But when you think about what 25 years is, it's a massive, massive amount of time to be in battle with something. They talk about the battle of the bulge. And I really don't think mine was so much a battle of the bulge as it was just, like I say, dieting hell. Because hell is this place where it doesn't matter what you do to escape, what door you go through, what strategies you devise, what plan you come up with. It doesn't matter which one, you always end up back where you began. That's how, that's what the whole premise of hell is. It's just this eternal place of suffering. And wanting to lose weight and lose it permanently and not being able to was my place of suffering. That's why I call it dieting hell. And, I did have moments of success, of course, of losing weight. I lost weight. I did lots of diet. Sometimes I couldn't stick to them for a minute, and other times I stuck to them right through and, managed to lose big chunks of weight, 20 kilos at a time, and occasionally kept it off for long periods of time. Two years was, I think, my max. But the problem was it did literally always come back. And understanding why I kept putting on the weight, and more importantly, why I wasn't actually noticing when it was piling back on and actually, taking steps to intervene, really just absolutely compounded my frustration and my feeling of disempowerment against myself, because this is not just my experience. There's thousands of people who experience the same thing, lose the weight and then just pile it back on without any real awareness that it's happening, until one day you just see a photo of yourself, or you see someone you haven't seen in a while, or there's some catalyst point, and it's like boom, right there in your face. Shit, I'm fat again. How on earth did that happen? And why didn't I intervene with myself? I mean, it's so debilitating to keep regaining the weight, but even more so to just not have that conscious awareness of why. Well, it's just, that's so disempowering. And I do always laugh about the popular term that people use for how long it takes to lose weight, like the length of time that they've been struggling with their weight. It's always the weight loss journey. Now, to me, a journey is something that you undertake with volition, which means that you do it purposely with a destination in mind. And I can see how that kind of fits with my weight loss journey. We go on this path of wanting to lose weight, and the destination is Slenderville, right? That's where we want to go. But when you think about it, people will say, like if you're going on a journey to a holiday destination, people will say, hey, have a nice journey. But for me, it wasn't a journey at all. It was a 25-year survival trek through the wilderness of my mind and learned behaviors, through the wilderness of my thoughts, feelings, and reactions and emotions. And I felt absolutely, truly lost. I was looking everywhere for answers. I spoke to countless professionals and individuals. I did courses. I read books. I was actually quite obsessed with it. This was it turned out to be my hobby, was this study of humanness, trying to understand who I was. I did all kinds of courses in all kinds of fields. It wasn't just health and nutrition and fitness. Because it became so unfathomable that I could have all that knowledge and still have this problem, then, I was reaching out into so many other areas of life, into philosophy and psychology and into the systems of life, just trying to understand why I kept falling back into the same hole over and over and over again. That is the whole definition of insanity, right? Is, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, I wasn't doing the same thing over and over. I kept doing different things, yet I kept getting the same damn result. And that's what actually causes insanity, is because you are trying so many different doors. This version of dieting hell that I have is, I'm standing there and there's a door and a door and a door, and there's just, I'm surrounded by doors, and every now and again a light over a door would pop on, and I'd go, oh, I haven't tried that door yet. And then I'd go through and I would do what I'm meant to do. And then that would be me right back there where I started. It was just mentally, emotionally, physically draining. And all those insights that I got along the way from all the courses that I did, all the programs, all the reading, all the conversations, they were just fragments of a puzzle, and mostly raising more questions than they ever answered. And they say that understanding yourself is like peeling an onion. I really do not like this term because, at the beginning you go, oh yeah, I get it. It's really like peeling an onion. You uncover something and you get back beyond that. Okay, yay. Oh no, there's something underneath. Well, as far as I could see, my journey, my grueling survival trek, was really more like a 10,000 piece puzzle that had been just strewn across the earth. And my job was to go out and find all the damn pieces of the puzzle and then try and put it together. And 25 years is a bloody long time to be looking for puzzle pieces. Wouldn't you agree? Like, to find all the pieces, the philosophies, the principles, the success strategies, the techniques, the tools. That's what took me 25 years. 25 years to find all of those pieces of the puzzle. And then it took me another year to work out how to turn them from a concept, like an intellectual idea, because that's all things are an intellectual idea that you read about that, and it goes into your mind, you think about it, and it's just a concept until you apply it to your life. And I did apply loads of things, but you fatigue on this application after a while. And this is the whole point of everything, right? It's an intellectual concept that you try, and then you somehow magically go back to the way you were. So for me, it took a whole year to work out what all these magical concepts and philosophies and principles were, and work out how to actually implement them, to literally live them day by day in my daily life, whether my life was fabulously running along, skipping and having a song, or whether life was just shit and a hard struggle, which sometimes it is. You get stressed, you feel under pressure, there's stuff happening, you've got conflict, whether it's somewhere in your life, work, relationships, maybe it's just wrestling with your financial institution. We have so many things that we have to deal with, and these are where we literally have to apply these principles, these philosophies of life. How do you implement these things in these moments, in these heavy set moments, in these times where you are just under pressure? So that was a year of working out how to do that. How do I implement that? And then it was another 6 years to refine that process enough that I could actually teach it to you, to other people, to share the knowledge for other people who are wanting to achieve what I've achieved, which is dietless free life, a dietless living, right? And that was the question that I was asked. Why did I call my weight loss program Dietless Living? Because dietless living means exactly that, what it says on the box. Living diet free. Living being the big word, dietless being the little word. It's about living. It's about living free from the constraints of traditional dietary weight loss methods, because a person who is literally overweight spends an extraordinary amount of time thinking about food. Now, I speak from experience. 25 years, food was constantly on my mind. What can I eat? What can't I eat? The internal drives to eat, the actual literal compulsion to eat. And it's just a really bizarre concept, because somebody who's already thinking about that much about food then goes on a weight loss program where they're actually told to focus more on the thing that is giving them the most trouble, the most challenge, the most hardship, the biggest obstacle they have to overcome is then food. So we have to think even more about it, obsessing over every morsel that we can have. Is it the right thing? Is it fit with the diet? Am I weighing it? How many calories have I had? Is it in the food group that I can eat? And if it's not, the ones that just simply exclude food groups, which seems like a much simpler solution, really isn't, because you have to reinvent your kitchen and the way that you do food. And in fact, it doesn't matter which weight loss program or food regime you go on, you have to reinvent your kitchen and the way you do food, which really just simply leads us to all the bad places. That's what leads us back to where we began, when really the crux of the matter is that we need to be fully immersing ourselves in living life, in getting out and doing more and freeing ourselves up in our mind. Now, we live tight lives. We can't always be out doing things. We can't always just be out sunshine, lollipops, and skipping down the road as much as we might like, or off on holidays, or any of those things. We have responsibilities and we have things that we need to do, but it's how we think and feel about all those things and how we bring living into those moments. This is the magic, because if we're not living in every moment, what we're actually doing is sitting in the waiting room of life. We're sitting there, we are waiting for things to be different, for something to be over, for something to begin, for something to change before we get in and start living our life. I'll just get this done. I'll just get through here. I'm just going to focus in, get on top of this problem that I have, and then I'm going to live my life. Then I can have some rest and relaxation. Then I'll go on a holiday. Then I'll buy new clothes. Then I might go and have a massage, then, and then never damn well comes, because we're just sitting in the waiting room. The bloody train of happiness and life is whooshing past. It stops every 5 minutes. Not my train, not my train. I can't get on yet. I just got to get this done, then I can get on the train. And we never, ever do. When I started to prioritize living life in those moments and getting on that damn train, whether I was in a moment of Shitsville or whether I was sitting in the waiting room at Crappyland or whether I was sitting in the waiting room on my actual holiday. It's funny, you can go on a holiday and still not be living your life. You can still be doing your work emails. You can still be thinking about the problems that you've left behind, because your mind just doesn't let go of these things. But when I let my mind let go of things every minute of every day, that was the catalyst for change. And therein lies why it is called dietless living. It's not about changing your food, it's about changing you. And when you change you and embrace these philosophies and principles and success strategies for making that happen, implementing them every day, then you get to enjoy the beauty of dietless living. It really is possible to go beyond dieting hell, to escape dieting hell and step into dietless living. And I, honest to God, hand on my heart, never, ever thought that I would be able to do it. And I, honest to God, never thought that was going to happen for me, because I thought I was just going to be fat forever. But I'm just an ordinary person. But if I can do it, so can you. It's your life. You need to be involved in how it turns out. And dietless living is the way forward to working out how to live a happy, happy life. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, anything at all. It's really nice to engage. Tell me what your takeaway was today and share it with your friends, because this is where the magic happens. When you hear something and you go, oh, I think that would be really good for my friend, share it with them. And if you want more help with this, just book in for a private session and let's just get it done this week, because life is for living and an ounce of adjustment is always easier to implement than 20 pounds of change. It's time to enjoy the life you've been looking for.